This is James Randi, and you're listening to The Skeptic Zone.
Welcome to The Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Hello and welcome to The Skeptic Zone, episode number 296. For the 22nd of June 2014, Richard Saunders here with you from Sydney, Australia. Woo! And part two. Yes, this week we have a two-parter. We do. I joined Jo Alabaster and head up to Katoomba in the Blue Mountains. Jo lives quite near there. And we check out the Winter Magic Festival of Katoomba, which is a huge street fair with lots of magic and sort of wintry things happening up there to celebrate the winter solstice. What will we find? Will we find mysticism? Will we find magic? Join us shortly and find out. After that, it's a week in science from our good friends at the Royal Institution of Australia, www.riaus.org.au. Not much magic there, but plenty of science. Then it's Woo Weekend Part 2, as I head for the Festival of Mind, Body, Spirit, or as we have been calling it for years and years, Mind, Body, Wallet. And then to round off the show, Evidence Please with Jo Alabaster. Jo continuing her look at parenting skeptically. And there's a Facebook site that Jo has put together with Lauren Cochrane from Canberra. If you go to Facebook and look for Parenting Skeptically, you'll see that. This week, Jo looks at the early years. Young children. What woo can she find out about or aimed at parents with young children? And I hear that Jo Alabaster is also heading for Briz Skeptic Camp. Briz Skeptic Camp. Skeptic Camp in Brisbane, Australia. I wonder if I can sort of hitchhike my way up to Brisbane for that. Now, I must admit, friends, that this week's show is a little shorter than your average Skeptic Zone. I've been very busy this week. Got a new job on and running around quite a bit up and down the coast. So a little bit of a shorter show this week. Never mind, it gives you more time to, check out some of the websites we mentioned along the way. But now it's time for me to run downstairs, making sure that Fred the cat has lots of yummy cat food in his bowl. As for me, I'm going to go into the cupboard and see if I haven't got some peanut butter cups. Oh, man. I probably don't, because as soon as they come into the house, they magically disappear somehow. While I'm doing that, I hope you enjoy The Skeptic Zone. It's the 21st of June, the first day of winter. Jo Alabaster, here we are at Katoomba, and it's the what is it they call it? The Magic Festival?
The Winter Magic Festival.
The Winter Magic Festival. We're in the main street of Katoomba. Passing something very loud. Strolling up to the top of the street, because the whole street, stretching a couple of kilometres, I guess, is nothing but street stalls. And this is really a bit of a woo fest, isn't it, Jo?
It certainly can be, yes.
Well, that's the promise. That's why I'm here. So we're going to be poking around this festival as we get through the crowd and seeing what we can report on for the zone. And I've been getting some lovely comments about your latest reports, Jo, about parenting.
That's very lovely. Excellent to hear.
Yeah. And I hope more to come, yes.
More to come. I don't know. Am I doing one this week?
I don't.
We might have one this week.
Well, by the time listeners hear this show, they'll know.
They will indeed.
They can see the future.
And I cannot.
Well, let's make our way to the top of the street. We'll meander slowly down and see what we can see. Good heavens, there's a wizard coming towards us. Looks like Dumbledore. Wouldn't be a woo fest without drums, Joe.
Certainly not. Takes me back to growing up in Fremantle.
Well, it didn't take us long. We're passing a candle store which makes candles, and I quote, as soon as the people move away, Australian beeswax candles release negative ions and neutralise pollens, allergens and dust particles. Goodness me. We should just run over and buy some. I'll try to describe the scene to you. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny, wintry day up here in the Blue Mountains. Streets and streets are covered with, or lined with lots of different stalls, all sorts of things. There's a stall selling hats, someone selling portrait photography, lots of clothes of different kinds. What do we have over here? Looks like someone's selling different paints, some teas, pancakes, Dutch pancakes. Oh, your hand in wax. Your hand in wax. Himalayan Yummy Kitchen. Lots of food here, folks, and lots of people dressed up in all sorts of... there's some mouse ears over there, lots of wizards and inner health and wellness we're passing now. Aloe vera. They're flogging a magazine. And they've got it detoxes. Well, that's what we want, isn't it? Something that detoxes.
Remove those unspecified toxins.
That's right. What happens to the toxins once it detox? Where do they go? That's what I'd like to know.
I think into the marine.
Well, then it's really polluting the environment,
That's
you could
correct.
say. We have grilled chicken and chips, hot dogs. You notice I'm noticing all the food stalls. And German gourmet sausages. It's quite something up here. I had no idea this was so big. When I heard about it, I thought it was just like a little fair or something. But
No, it's many streets worth.
oh, we're coming up to Be Vegan, Make Peace stand. The Greens are here, the political party. The herb store.
Sign the petition, bust Abbott's budget, sign here.
There we go. We can bust Abbott's budget if we sign there.
It's easy.
What's this one? Supreme Master Ching.
Oh, here we go.
What's that one?
This is one of the slightly culty ones.
Looks like Animal Farm. We've got the horse and the goat and the pig and everything. Free DVD vegan recipes. Oh. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you. Organic vegan.
A noble way of living.
Loving recipes, it says. Be vegan, make peace. Oh, I would miss my steaks too much if I did that.
I used to eat a lot of steaks and kebabs.
Sorry?
I used to eat a lot of kebabs and steaks. But it's been 19 years that I'm vegan now, You feel much more energetic, much more peaceful, friendly, everything. But I wouldn't give a kebab for anything. But, I don't know, I just decided, because I had a lot of problems. Cholesterol, prostate, and all these things. So in this 19 years, prostate has gone reverse.
Yeah. But I guess that's great. But if you eat a well-balanced diet with a bit of meat in it, you'd still be quite healthy and well.
It is true. Look, in our belief, there is no bad person. Everybody's path is different. But we just consciously choose that we don't want to eat meat or we don't want to take life. That's the reason.
Well, that's your choice.
People.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't judge people because you cannot judge people because you don't know the other people's destiny or their will. You are also God. So everybody is God. Everybody, whatever you do, that is meant for you. You know what I mean? Why? So we don't go to church. We are spiritual. We don't go to religious. So we love everybody the same. But we know that everybody's path also different, and you have to respect it.
That's absolutely right. In a free society, you can be vegan or you can be a meat eater.
God bless you. Australia, beautiful.
That's right. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
There we go, Joe. I've got a free DVD to enjoy later.
Fantastic. It's worth checking out their website, actually. They've got some interesting spiritual ideas.
Do they?
They do indeed.
Oh. I thought I heard a steam train. Just then.
They decided not to go up this street this year.
Oh, and we've come to the end, or the beginning.
Yeah.
Now we have to turn around and do it all again. And what's that I hear? Look at all the people running to the bridge.
Look at the steam train.
There's a steam train coming. Oh, there it is.
Steam train.
Goodness me. I'll run over here to the railing overlooking the train tracks. Beautiful old steam train just pulled in.
Being pushed by a diesel train.
Can you see the train? No, she's looking at the microphone now. Joe, it's happened again. Your daughter will not speak on the microphone.
It's quite bizarre. Daphne, you want to say hello?
Say hello.
No.
She was a chatterbox before.
Hello?
You said hello.
You did.
Can you say hello again?
Hello?
There we go. Here we go. We've got a sign here. Joe, it says, what is the spirit saying to you?
That's a very good question.
Blessing tree. Oh, it's jewellery. Yeah. The spirit is no doubt saying buy our jewellery, I would say.
The spirit is correct in at least putting silver up there.
That's right.
I prefer silver.
I just can't help myself. I look over here and I can see gourmet Viking char-grilled gourmet sausages. Oh, churros over there. Okay, we're sort of on the main street again, at the top of the rise that goes down the street and eventually ends up at the Three Sisters Lookout, and we can hardly move for the crush of people here. This is much bigger than I ever suspected. Passing mostly food stalls at the moment. Oh, there's somebody dressed up like the Joker from Batman, as opposed to the Joker from anywhere else, I guess. And if there were some more woo stalls here, it'd be hard to see because there are just so many people. Well, we're in the really nice library area here at the moment, and there was a room set aside for the Mind, Body, Spirit section, and it's rather small. There's not many mind, body, spirit things happening in there. But we're walking through the library now out to the big outside area here. I think our friend Peter Bowditch, you were saying, comes here quite often.
Yes, this is the library that Peter checks in on at Foursquare.
We're just walking now to the viewing platform here at the library. And I can even see before me as we walk towards it, the view is, even from here, is spectacular. This is one of the most famous views in Australia, Joe, the Katoomba views. The Three Sisters in the Megalon Valley.
Yep.
Walking up the ramp here now. I think this show is turning into more like a travelogue tourist. Wow, look at that. I've never been to this particular vantage point before. What a fantastic view.
No, it's quite new, actually.
It's quite new, is it?
Yeah.
Well, for the benefit of Skeptic Zone fans out there, in a moment I'll take a big panorama and I'll put it on the Twitter at Skeptic Zone so you can see what we're looking at, but it's absolutely spectacular. It couldn't be a better day for it either. And Joe, you've picked up one of the leaflets there from outside the Mind, Body, Spirit room. And what do we have here?
Here we have Trudy Ann Moore, who does soul surgery, which is some sort of shamanic clearing. It says here, with over 20 years' experience, Trudy is able to dissolve the psychic energy stored in the body from past trauma, such as divorce, anxiety, emotional sexual abuse, grief and accidents. Trauma often forces a soul fragment out of the body. Trudy will journey to retrieve it, restoring wholeness of being.
I'm convinced.
I'm confused.
You're chuckling now, Joe. What's happening?
We've got some very cost-effective discount therapeutic services here. We've got the most affordable way to create change by nurturing your senses, attain inner peace, cope with life's demands, and enhance your quality of life.
Ooh.
I can do it for cheaper.
You can?
I can.
I've had one of your cookies. You did it for me.
Goodness me.
When I was growing up in the 1970s, we used to have things called throwdowns. And throwdowns are a big part of Firecracker Night. And hello? There's some kids here with some throwdowns. They're back. Go! Well, the parade's over and we're winding our way down the street here. Still stalls and people as far as we can see. Jo, you have been winkling out a bit of woo here and there, and we're just noticing that on the poles and posts are quit smoking signs, guaranteed or something.
By hypnosis, I believe, yeah. I'm sceptical.
I am sceptical too. It may come as a shock. Well, we're now making our way away from the winter magic, Jo, and you were just saying that there wasn't as much mysticism as woo as you were expecting.
Not quite as much this year, no. It's curious. Very curious.
What? Lack of crystals, maybe?
Lack of crystals, lack of crystal trees, but we did see the elusive Blue Mountains panther.
We did see the elusive Blue Mountains panther, and we had a selfie with the Blue Mountains panther.
We did indeed. Cryptozoology at its best.
Well, that's the end of part 1 of our Woo Weekend. Coming up after the break, part 2, where we venture to Mind, Body, Wallet.
Did you see that UFO sighting that made the news? What did that latest study about alternative treatments really say? Is this photo making the rounds real or a hoax? Doubtful News is a unique website featuring news about pseudoscience, the paranormal, anomalies, and questionable claims, framed with a skeptical view. Come visit doubtfulnews.com every day for news about cryptozoology, conspiracies, shams, scams, and more. Follow us on Twitter at Doubtful News. Critical thinking is essential in assessing today's news. Doubtful News helps you decide, can you really believe this stuff?
Welcome to A Week in Science from RiAus, bringing you the science you need to know. Everyone knows that the Earth orbits the Sun, but how did we actually get to know that? Let me introduce you to Galileo. Galileo Galilei was born in Italy in 1564. While studying medicine at university, he did what so many students do and, no, not get horribly drunk, found that his interest lay in a different field and changed his area of study. Luckily for us, he discovered his passion in geometry and became a mathematician. During his work as a mathematician, he changed the theory of gravity. The previous theory, devised by Aristotle, said that heavier objects fall faster. Galileo showed all objects fell at the same speed. After several years, he moves to the University of Padua, which is where his most famous story starts. It is here that he built his telescope and started observing the movements of the planets. With his telescope, Galileo discovered the mountains on the Moon and the moons of Jupiter. But what made Galileo famous was his confirmation of Copernicus' theory of planets orbiting the Sun and not the Earth, as religious doctrine had stated. The discovery of Jupiter's moons showed that not everything orbited the Earth, and the phases of Venus showed that it orbited the Sun. Galileo realised that all planets, including Earth, orbited the Sun, and published this theory in 1632. For going against religious dogma, the Catholic Church found Galileo guilty of heresy, imprisoned him, and banned his book. It was only in 1992 that the Catholic Church pardoned Galileo. And now, 4 fast facts about planetary orbits. A common misconception is that Galileo wasn't religious. In fact, he was a devout Catholic. Galileo thought that the planets orbited the Sun in circular orbits. Later, Kepler found that these orbits were in fact elliptical or oval-shaped. The elliptical orbits mean that Earth's distance from the Sun varies by around 5 million kilometres. And Earth's speed as it orbits the Sun is around 30 kilometres per second. That's it for this Week in Science. For more information about the orbits of planets around the Sun, go to the RiAus website, riaus.org.au. Follow us on Twitter at RiAus and like us on Facebook. I'm Ben Lewis, and we'll catch you next week.
Ad hominem, begging the question, factoid propagation, false analogy, false cause, false dichotomy, gibberish, immunised hypothesis, moral equivalence, poisoning the well, simple-minded certitude, stacking a deck, and WTF are just some of the fallacies we provide real-life examples of in Hunting Humbug 101, a podcast about bad arguments. Check it out at www.skepticsfieldguide.net.
Hello from the Mind Body Wallet Festival here in Sydney. It's the 22nd of June. On the stage now, on the main stage, is a psychic. And what strikes me is what he's doing on the stage there is so textbook cold reading. It's almost galling. You know, people say, "Oh, Richard, you should have an open mind and go to these things. And have you tried this psychic? Have you tried that psychic?" Honestly, people, it's the same set of notes played on different instruments. Is there a female energy here, etc., etc.? Asking questions. After all these years, it's slightly mind-numbing. Never mind. There's lots of other mind-numbing things here at Mind Body Wallet here in Sydney. Healing crystals. Lots of people offering health checks. One wonders about the legalities of using these terms, but anyway. Lots of readings. Lots of people selling certainly unproven pseudo-medicines for your ills. There are devices which you hold onto. They run through a computer, then they tell you your ills. Things like that. I'm just walking down one of the aisles here. What do we have here? Some brilliant crystals. Oh, they look very nice, I'm sure. Skin scroll arts. I'm not sure what that is. Chinese brush painting. Oh, that's very nice. There you go. Another talk going on here.
Got a lot of that. That just stops your backflow, just in case you're interested about stuff that moves through your bowels. So that happened when I was 30. When I was 40, I was going in and out of hospital.
This talk is entitled How the Human Cells in the Body Are Affected by the Environment That Surround Them. How to Avoid Gastrointestinal Illness and Cancer. I think I better listen. What do we have here? Passing another one. Stem cell nutrition. Free water testing. Do I sense a marketing opportunity there? Lots of people here, I must say. It's not in its normal location this year. It's way out in the burbs a little bit. A bit hard to get to, but still, the joint is packed. It really is. Deep muscle massage. Hey, what's wrong with that? Here we go. Clairvoyant, palmistry, tarot, etc. Psychic readings, $45 for 25 minutes. There's money in that psychic industry. Let's walk around the corner here. Let's see what we can see. More stands, lots of purple today, I must say. Sacred Mist and HSS. I'm not sure what HSS stands for. Bay Audio. Hearing loss can affect anybody. Yeah, well, that's true. College of Complementary Medicine here. Certificate in Kinesiology. Those of you who know my video might get a chuckle out of that. Whole body aura. One of those aura cameras, so-called aura cameras. Menopause Center and Weight Loss. I see. Beeswax.
Come on.
Chinese acupuncture and massage. Lots of dream catchers here I'm passing at the moment. I had a funny dream last night. Pinnacle Health Clinic. There's the word health again. More dream catchers. Goodness me, there's more dream catchers here than I've seen in a while. More beeswax candles. Feng Shui Laws with Roxanne. Oh, I know Roxanne. She'll wave at me as I walk past. Claiming magnetic jewellery here. One question that keeps popping up year after year is, where are the authorities? There are so many dodgy claims being made here. One wonders when the government's going to come in and have a word to some of these people. Here's an interesting one. Does your dog and cat suffer from itchy skin, bad breath, arthritis, licking paws, skin allergies, fleas,
ear or eye infections, travel, digestive and bowel problems, thyroid, skin allergies, anxiety. Natural animal solutions, 100% natural. Professionally formulated by Australian naturopaths. The other sign says scientifically developed clinical health care. No further comment needed. One notices that these things, lots of people waving their hands at people. There's one chap who was looking at people, one hand in the air and the other hand sort of spiraling towards his patient. I think I've mentioned this tip on the Skeptic Zone before, but at the moment I've got my phone up to my ear as if I'm having a chat to somebody. Not only can I record without looking like a complete wally, but people will ignore you. It's amazing when you're on the phone. People just sort of look through you as if you're not there. So you're not hassled by vendors, and it's amazing. It's like a huge get-out-of-free-jail card when you're in a social situation. Just be on the phone and then you're in your own little world. Oh, passing chakra balancing crystals. We have some TENS machine, Dr. TENS, and a huge acupuncture chart next to it. Whack this on your shoulder and away you go. Infrared saunas. Actually, I met somebody once at a Mind Body Wallet festival who was very angry at the infrared saunas, claiming that they weren't real saunas because real saunas, of course, use steam. I'll let them fight that amongst themselves. Oh, astrology, the old favourites are here. What's this? AMI Australia One-Stop Detox. Leaf greens. There's even a psychic here with a crystal ball, I kid you not. Kerry C. Psychic Medium. Crystal ball readings with Kerry C's. Good heavens. Oh, Reiki courses, talking about people waving their hands. Well, they're actually touching the people. There we are. How nice is that? New World Chiropractic. 3 Health Assessment. There's a stand here of people selling light bulbs. Now we're passing Happy Science Australia. I don't think it's much to do with science somehow. Ear candles. There's a couple of ear candle stands here. They're still legal, unfortunately. Yeah, it wouldn't be a Mind Body Wallet without iridology. Iridology, here now. See your health through your eyes. See your health potential. It's an interesting thing that everybody should know called weasel words. May help with. Words to this effect. The more I walk around here, the more it becomes apparent to me that you could set up just about anything here. Look professional, have a few glossy signs, make up something to back up your claims, and people would turn up and people would give you their money. I'm not kidding. It's I don't know what it is. It's human nature. This is what people are like, I guess. Maybe it's an indictment of our educational system or our society in some respect. That's one to ponder. And so it's time for me to make my way out of Mind Body Wallet for another 6 months. Not much has changed over the years, I guess. It's interesting and depressing at the same time, really. But as always, I would always recommend that any skeptic,
7 o'clock.
at least
The
once,
show finishes at 7.
comes along to a Mind Body Wallet.
Virtual Skeptics is a weekly web show in which we discuss the latest news in skepticism.
Whether it's a new case of spontaneous human combustion, a conspiracy theory, the latest update on the upcoming robot apocalypse, tech news for skeptics, or the latest wacky religious claim, we cover it all.
We record the show live as a Google Plus on-air hangout, so join us and our host Brian Gregory for an hour of mostly intelligent talk every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time.
Watch us at virtualskeptics.com and participate in the show on our hashtag virtualskeptics.
The Virtual Skeptics. It's like Meet the Press, but with chupacabras.
What we want is some more evidence, please. Here's Jo Alabaster.
Hello, this is Jo Alabaster. Last week I chatted about strange claims and myths surrounding conception and pregnancy. This week we're moving on to birth and early childhood. Late pregnancy. By 38 weeks or so, many women are a bit over pregnancy and just want the baby out. I noticed discussions on my parenting forum turning to methods to bring on labour: eating spicy foods, drinking castor oil, and having sex. The former two are intended to get the bowel moving, somehow affecting the uterus also. There is no good evidence that this works, and drinking castor oil runs the risk of inducing horrible diarrhoea, potentially dehydrating the mother-to-be. Other methods that women try are acupuncture, acupressure, eating pineapple, bumpy car rides, walking, and particular exercises. There's no evidence that these are at all effective, though some women will swear by them, not taking into consideration that the labour may well have been on its way regardless. Correlation ain't causation. There are some herbal preparations which may have an effect on the uterus or cervix, but frankly, taking substances that are unregulated, not well measured, and are causing changes in the body of a highly pregnant woman strikes me as potentially rather dangerous. In late pregnancy, Australian women are regularly in touch with hospital midwives and obstetricians. If for some reason induction is recommended, they can carry it out in a supervised and evidence-based manner. For my first birth, I wanted to avoid having an epidural, not because I'd fallen for the misinformation surrounding the risks of having an epidural, and there are minor risks, which an anaesthetist should discuss with women during a consultation, but because I was rather squeamish about the idea of having one put in. I do find this a little amusing in retrospect. Worrying about a needle was one of the furthest things from my mind during labour. Nonetheless, I did look into alternative methods of pain relief. A TENS machine, transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, was the first idea I looked into. The evidence for their effectiveness is weak and more studies are needed, but the risks of using them are minimal, and they do give women an active role in managing at least some sensations in their bodies, if not controlling the pain itself, as TENS units are self-operated. While I was looking around online at companies who hired out labour TENS machines, I came across one who was also selling homeopathic birthing kits. For just $99, women can purchase a little plastic box containing 13 vials of sugar pills, and I've no doubt that some women do. Hypnobirthing is a rather popular system. Quite a few women in my birth group bought the books, CDs, DVDs, and attended the classes. Hypnobirthing is a self-hypnosis method, and its philosophy seems to espouse the notion that childbirth can be painless, comfortable, and intervention-free, and that much of the pain experienced by women during labour is due to fears of being in pain and a lack of control. I cannot comment on hypnobirthing's efficacy, but I would like to personally note that one of the things that concerns me about this and other methods and ideologies which promote an empowered, painless birthing experience is the potential for women to experience disappointment and distress if they do require medical intervention, do experience pain, or in some other way their experience doesn't meet up with what they've been told and have believed that it can be. Delayed cord clamping is a common request made of midwives. The claim is that the blood within the umbilical cord is beneficial to the newly born baby, and while there is no notable long-term benefit in doing so, delaying cord clamping is of no harm. A more extreme practice is that of lotus birth, in which the umbilical cord is not cut and remains attached to the placenta until it disintegrates on its own several days postpartum. There is no evidence that keeping the placenta attached is of any benefit, and there is a risk that infection can occur in the placenta, transferring to the baby via the umbilical cord. The most worrying misinformation I've come across regarding lotus birthing was given by the Australian Vaccination Network. A woman who was advised to have an anti-D injection by her medical providers, as the child she was carrying was Rh positive and she was Rh negative, was advised by the AVN that the anti-D injection contained thimerosal, it does not, and to consider a lotus birth, as they were under the impression that late cord clamping and lotus birth eliminates the exchange of blood between mother and baby. They do not. The HCCC have addressed this claim. On to lactation. There are plenty of myths and much advice regarding establishing breastfeeding, should a woman wish to do so, and increasing milk supply, from consuming the placenta, either cooked fresh or dehydrated, taking herbs, to a lactation cookies recipe that has been doing the rounds via parenting forums for some years. I'll admit to having baked the cookies, or rather, having had somebody bake the cookies for me. Whether they actually have a galactolog effect is disputable, but cookies! Maintaining supply during breastfeeding can be an incredibly worrisome concern, especially for new parents who are experiencing one heck of a life change and often very little sleep. Early childhood nurses are experienced in monitoring how feeding is going and can refer families to a lactation consultant if any problems are suspected. Mastitis is a pain. Characterized by sore, painful or hardened breasts, flu-like symptoms, and a high temperature, it can be caused by inflammation due to blocked milk ducts or from a bacterial infection. This is one to take to the GP should it be experienced, though some women try to treat it at home with cabbage leaves applied to the breasts and homeopathics. Young babies can experience colic, which is a term used to describe unexplained crying fits, which usually happen in the afternoon and evening. The cause is unknown, and it's generally self-limiting. Again, speak with an early childhood nurse or your GP if you're concerned. Naturally, there are a few claims that there's a cure for colic out there. Chiropractors treat it. Pharmacies sell homeopathics and gripe water, a herbal concoction with no demonstrated efficacy. I'm quite sure that I could do an entire series on myths surrounding vaccination and make a full-time job of refuting them. Dr. Raichi has written extensively on vaccination myths. On the off chance you haven't already, I recommend checking out her articles on The Conversation and Mamma Mia. The final topic I'd like to discuss today is teething. Now, here's one of my personal bugbears. When the exhausted parent of a grumpy, sleepless, teething baby walks into a pharmacy looking for something to relieve their bub's discomfort, and they approach the baby needs aisle, they're generally confronted with an array of gels and such which claim to soothe the pain of teething. Some have active ingredients, some claim to be natural, some have nothing in them at all. Homeopathic teething remedies on the shelves next to those with active ingredients. So many of my birth group friends, generally quite savvy people, but without a particular interest in skepticism, picked up the homeopathic remedies instead of those which had a chance of having an effect, under the impression that they were doing something to help their infants. Of course, there are homeopathics masquerading as medicines in pharmacies which have the potential to do more harm, in particular those which people opt to use in lieu of seeking medical advice for potentially serious conditions. But that pharmacies would choose to deceive young parents by selling homeopathics alongside effective teething gels really galls me. Needless to say, I fully support Dr. Ken Harvey's campaign against homeopathics being sold in pharmacies. The other highly popular teething bunk is the Baltic Amber Teething Necklace. Those who listened to my report last week may be guessing what I'm about to admit to. I'd like to preface this with a note that when my son was teething, I was incredibly worn out, experiencing postnatal depression and anxiety, barely sleeping, and desperate. A situation that I imagine is common to a heck of a lot of new parents. We're generally not at our most mentally acute. The TGA warnings were not out yet, and I was not involved in any skeptical communities. I'm not presenting this background information as an excuse, but hopefully it'll serve as an explanation as to the state of mind of parents who buy into these silly things. I bought my son a Baltic Amber necklace to help with his teething discomfort. They don't help. There's no plausible mechanism by which they can release an analgesic substance when warmed against the skin, which is their claim. They're a choking and strangulation hazard. I learned this while the necklace was in the post, and my son didn't wear it, though many of my parenting friends have put them on their kids. When the subject arises, many take a, well, what's the harm approach to whether they're effective or not. To my mind, the harms are potential strangulation and choking, to which they generally reply that their children only wear them while supervised. wasted money, the investment of hope in a sham, and the perpetuation of cultural acceptance of the silly things. And there is a cultural acceptance, and even promotion, of so many myths and shams surrounding early parenthood. It can be incredibly difficult to navigate, particularly when you're immersed in the exhausting, elating, emotional, and opinion-heavy world of caring for a new baby. If skepticism and science-based parenting is a topic which interests you, Lauren Cochrane, president of Canberra Skeptics, and myself have started up a Facebook group, Parenting Skeptically, which we'd welcome you to like and participate in. Also, Lauren will be speaking at Brisbane Skepticamp next month on the topic Parenting Skeptically, Mummy Guilt versus Good Science. Brisbane Skepticamp is on the 19th of July at Hamilton Town Hall. Check out brisskepticamp.org for more information. I'll also be there wandering about with my Skeptic Zone microphone and speaking to some fascinating people.
You've argued against the same woo so many times you can do it in your sleep. Quit trying to stop the nonsense one person at a time. Join Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia. Help us make sure the best skeptical information is always at everyone's fingertips. We need writers, editors, translators. We need you. And take as much or as little time as you can give us. Help us make Wikipedia as accurate as it can be, and you'll literally be helping people while you sleep. To join us or find out more, send a Facebook friend request to Susan Gerbic. That's Gerbic. Guerrilla Skepticism. The time is now.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. Not long now before I start to pack my bags, I'm off to Las Vegas for the amazing meeting in July. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to running around with Dr. Carl Kruszelnicki in Las Vegas. It's Dr. Carl's first time at the amazing meeting. If you're coming to the amazing meeting, say hello to me. Say hello to Dr. Carl. I'm sure we're going to have a really great time. And that's just so we can whet our appetite for the Australian Skeptics National Convention, which will be in November the 28th, 29th and 30th this year. And you can get your tickets at convention.skeptics.com.au. Guests include the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, George Harab, Dick Smith, Dr. Carl, as I've mentioned, Dr. Rachel will be giving a talk, Sonia Pemberton, Bettina Arndt, and many more yet to be announced. Looking forward to seeing you there. Looking forward to seeing you at TAM. Wherever you see me, please come up and say hello. But for this week, this is Richard Saunders and Fred the Cat, signing off from Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.